What is going on, guys? Welcome back. Continuing NASCAR Heat 3 My Career. Finishing our second season. Obviously just won the championship in Homestead. I want to talk about some of the things this game does from a user interface standpoint and, more importantly, from a challenge standpoint, because we just won our first championship in our second year. We barely actually won that championship, and the game does a really good job at presenting to you what you're doing. The first thing you're going to see is your series involvement. You can see going into the third year, despite winning a championship, I still can't go to Monster Energy even if I want to. I got the Xfinity Series unlocked, but I elect to only go in the Camping World Truck Series. It then prompts me whether I want to run for myself or someone else. Once I select myself, I get another set of sponsors, all of which kind of have their own different financial ramifications. But I will say it should have been more clear, and there should have been a ramification for me changing the manufacturer. This is a Toyota sponsorship for some reason. It also goes back and elaborates, you're sure you want to race your own team again? At this point, I was a little concerned I was going to lose all the progress like I did from last year to this year. So I was a little bit hasty when going through this paint booth, which is way too dark. But the sponsor does actually select the paint scheme for you, and then you get to match the colors to the truck. Once you've done that, you kind of get this final warning of, let me make sure we've got this. You're only going to run the truck series and nothing else. And then you're presented your incentive contract, which I was actually very surprised. The challenging side of this, that's a significant amount of money for 4 top 5s. But not knowing how we're going to be, not being real consistent yet, I go with the normal. From there, I did listen to your guys' feedback on the series, so I increased the race length. I increased the tire wear and fuel consumption, so that should be longer and more compelling races to watch, and then we prepare for Daytona. Now, from the franchise standpoint, I just won the championship. Lower division or not, I want to show you I still don't have the money to actually bring all my associates up to where the other associates I have are. In a lot of games, you think a championship kind of gives you a green light to do whatever you want, but not so much in this game. There's a lot of building that has to be done. In fact, I still don't have all the trucks I need. I still could go get a road course truck if needed. I've got 2 speedway trucks, a short track, and a super speedway, and that's almost bare bones with how you can get by, and I'm still not prepared financially to invest in another truck. To go back to that paint booth, though, in the beginning, as I said, it's very dull. It's very dimly lit, and the color's really not that forgiving there. So I wanted to show you a better example of what the truck looks like at Daytona with the Toyota banner, since now we're going to be Toyota's flagship truck, I would assume. Love's has been a sponsor in NASCAR for a very long time. Whether it was intended to or not, this is kind of a Love's-esque paint scheme. I will say one thing that I kind of toyed around with was that runner in the back. Did I want it to be black? Did I want it to be white? I initially settled with it being black because if you remember last year, we were kind of struggling through the season. I kind of broke down and bought into the team in a way that I didn't want to invest. And in doing that, really laid the foundation for going to get more out of the series this year, knowing I don't want to go through that with the Xfinity Series and step up and not be prepared and not be able to be competitive right away. So I thought that change in mindset was echoed through the paint scheme and the trucks going from white to black, and I thought it was probably best if we paid a little bit of homage to ourselves and went back to that black banner on the back. With that said, I also kept the red wheels. I'm not a big colored wheels guy, but I just thought it looked good on this truck. Maybe something will change through the season if we start to have problems like we did last year. But overall, I really like the way this game progresses you. I like the options it gives you. I like how clear it is with its decisions. I just wish there were more ramifications. I shouldn't be able to switch from one manufacturer to the next and not have some type of impact. Whether Toyota is going to give me more R&D money, whether they're going to help me more financially, or whether Ford wanted me to stay. It's generally not something that just happens in any series of racing where a team just haphazardly says, well, we're going to change sponsors, so we have to change manufacturers. One or the other, I mean, it can happen, but it's not that common. And if it does here, then I should maybe have a little bit more of a say. You shouldn't tie me to a sponsor directly through a manufacturer. With that said, obviously, I'm excited to start this next season. One of the reasons I came back was I felt like we had some unfinished business. I know we won races. I know that we won a championship, but we weren't competitive throughout the year. I mean, we really stunk the first maybe quarter to half of last year's season. Really didn't even get a top, I think maybe one top 10 in the first half of the year. And I didn't want to just say, I won a championship, so I've completed this and it's time to move on. I didn't want to get to the Xfinity Series knowing it was going to be more difficult and be faced with these same challenges of I just don't have the people to do what I need to do, and I don't have the equipment to race how I want to race. So it was important that I continued in the Truck Series for me, and hopefully we're going to build this team a little bit more. We're going to be a lot more competitive, and we can have a dominant championship run as opposed to just kind of limping into the playoffs and then just happening to catch fire at the right moments, which is honestly all that happened in winning that championship last year. Love to know your thoughts on this. Appreciate you checking it out, and you know that I'll be back in the week with more commentary.